Today I'm going to react to Dr. Philip Sarrel's comments at the recent FDA panel discussion on hormone therapy. Several questions will be answered, including how does estrogen deficiency during menopause impact a woman's brain, mood, and daily life? What dramatic changes can estrogen therapy make for women struggling with memory loss, sleep disturbance, and emotional outbursts? How much does untreated menopause cost working women and their employers in terms of health care and lost productivity? Is it true that tens of thousands of women may have died because they avoided estrogen therapy after menopause? Can taking estrogen actually reduce the risk of death from heart disease, fractures, cancer, and even dementia? Why do so few women use hormone replacement therapy even when the science shows major benefits? And lastly, how does estrogen affect things as unexpected as skin tanning and facial recognition, even in animals like the octopus? I'm Dr. Michael Lenz, an internist, pediatrician, clinical lipidologist, and lifestyle medicine, author and host of the book and podcast Conquering Your Fibromyalgia.
Dr. Philip Sarrel, go ahead.
My hope is that from my presentation, you will develop a deeper feeling for what a woman experiences at the time of menopause estrogen deficiency and a greater appreciation for how important this particular molecule is in biological existence. Estradiol effects are seen in most of the body's cells, including the brain, where it has been referred to as the master regulator in the brain. Symptoms of estradiol depletion due to disturbed brain function include loss of temperature control, sleep disturbance, cognitive disturbance, mood disorders, and angry outbursts. These symptoms can affect a woman in profound ways. Her sense of self, her daily functions, her relationships with her spouse. The effects of these symptoms in working women is a subject of current interest. In a 6-month placebo-controlled study done at Yale, 68% of 78 women with severe hot flashes reported negative effects on work ability. At the top of this list were trouble remembering, 82%, and sleep disturbance, 80%. Trouble remembering was reduced to 26%, as sleep disturbance to 10% after 6 months of daily estrogen.
What Dr. Sarrel shared is a powerful reminder of how far-reaching estrogen's role is. That estradiol isn't just about hot flashes, it's a master regulator in the brain, influencing memory, mood, sleep, and even workplace performance. And those Yale study numbers are striking, going from over 80% reporting memory trouble to just 26% after treatment. Just shows how much quality of life and even productivity can improve with the right therapy.
Other symptoms affecting 50% or more of the women included checking and double-checking and doing tasks so slowly to ensure correctness. Both of these symptoms were reduced to 8% after estrogen therapy. Temper outbursts at work were reduced from 34% to 6%. The women included a banker considering retirement because she could not remember the names of her board of directors, and a waitress who broke dishes in angry outbursts during her workday. I'm glad to report that both were restored to their normal selves after the 6 months. In another study having to do with work, we reviewed the insurance claims over the course of 1 year for working women with and without hot flashes. The women all worked for Fortune 500 companies. There were 252,273 women in each group. The women with untreated hot flashes had 1.5 million more visits for medical care. The costs for health care and work loss were $400 million more than for those without hot flashes. Now let's turn to another issue, death. That's a pretty distinct issue. Death attributable to avoiding estrogen. By age 50, half women in the United States have reached menopause. A third of the women in the United States have had a hysterectomy. In 2011, WHI reported, quotes, women aged 50 to 59 who received conjugated equine estrogen compared to women who received placebo had 12 fewer myocardial infarctions and 13 fewer deaths per 10,000 women. These WHI women who died were all under the age of 70. This was a 10-year follow-up. They'd been 50 to 59 when they started. They were 60 to 69 at the end when this was reported. Our team at Yale used those numbers and the percent decline in use of estrogen therapy to calculate that almost 50,000 women in the United States had died between 2002 and 2012 because of avoidance of estrogen. In the years since our original calculations, another 100,000 women have died in their 50s and 60s because they didn't use estradiol replacement after hysterectomy at the rates for women prior to 2002.
What Dr. Sarrel just laid out is both powerful and sobering. We're not just talking about hot flashes being an inconvenience. This is about real lives, careers, and even mortality. Estrogen therapy in these studies didn't just reduce symptoms like forgetfulness, slow work performance, and temper outbursts. It restored people's ability to function and thrive. Think about the banker who was ready to retire because she couldn't remember names, or the waitress who kept breaking dishes from frustration. Both got their lives back in just 6 months of estrogen treatment. And the economic cost. Fortune 500 women with untreated hot flashes racked up $400 million more in health care and lost productivity in just 1 year. That's staggering. But the most shocking part is the estimated 150,000 women in the U.S. who have died in the last 2 decades because they avoided estrogen therapy after hysterectomy, largely due to fear and misinformation following the WHI study. This is not just a women's health issue. It makes us wonder, is this more of a health crisis? Will we at least better communication and fewer barriers to safe, effective treatment?
More recent WHI reports of data for women aged 50 to 59 receiving estrogen only show an all-cause decrease in mortality of 32%, with decrease in mortality due to cardiovascular disease, hip fracture, breast and colon cancer, yes, decrease in the women who took estrogen, and a decrease in death from dementia. Yet, as Dr. Manson has stated in her papers, only 4% used hormone replacement afterwards. So now let's just take a look at the bottom of the slide, because I love the octopus. And the octopus is so interesting. This is an organism that has lasted for years. Years ago, the octopus discovered estradiol. The octopus is made up mostly of brains and hearts. 9 brains, 3 hearts. No breasts to worry about, no skeleton to worry about, no skin to worry about. The octopus just makes its way in the world with what it's got. But what it's got is something that oils the system, that connects the circulatory system and the nervous system and keeps them working together. Well, through the course, for example, by inducing nitric oxide in the octopus, estradiol enables it to have facial recognition. It'll work, it'll memorize your face, and when you come back again, it will come to you because it knows you. And that's enabled by the nitric oxide induced by the estradiol. That's important. Skin color. Melanocytes, one of our professors at Yale 50 years ago discovered that melanocytes, in order to tan, need estrogen. Without it, the skin burns. That's an interesting difference at menopause. So what the octopus uses skin color as a defense mechanism, and that is dependent on estradiol. Thousands of cellular actions of estradiol have emerged, giving the hormone a major role in biological existence. What I've presented are highlights from 3 different full lectures on each of the topics. Hopefully, we will have an opportunity to discuss them more fully in the session that follows.
You mentioned only 4% of women who are eligible for using estrogen are actually using it. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments below. If you found this episode valuable, hit the like and subscribe button. That way it will be easier for others like yourself to find this important information.